The Roxbury International Film Festival returns for its 23rd year, June 17th through 26th. This year's version will be a hybrid event with most screenings online, but also panel discussions and an outdoor screening of a documentary about a historic outdoor concert in Harlem. To tell us what's being planned is the festival's director, as well as the president and founder of the Color Film Collaborative, Lisa Simmons. Thank you very much for being with us, Lisa.
Thank you for having me, Chris. It's always great being on your show.
Lisa, even though this is a hybrid event, I'm reminded why you do this at the end of the springtime and not like as was the case last year in the fall. What's the advantage?
We've changed the festival over the course of the 23 years that it's been going on, but we feel like June is the perfect time to have it. It's sort of right before the summer season hits. And a great opportunity. It sort of sandwiched itself in between lots of other festivals that are going on. So we feel like that's the great time. Right. Last year, we were in October, like we were talking about before. And we did that because of COVID and because we thought possibly we might be able to be indoors, which of course didn't happen. So that was our first full online festival, which was great. We had some really great positive feedback from that. So this year, not knowing what was going to happen, we decided and worked really closely with the Museum of Fine Arts, who is our venue, to see if we could do both hybrid, online and in person.
I want to ask you about the opening, and I guess that might set the tone for the festival in a way. You have one film about a girl coming of age in Roxbury, but there's also a film, How It Feels to Be Free, which is a documentary about other women who became very accomplished as trailblazers. Talk about the concept around that opening.
So, we always like to open the festival with a film that we think will set the tone, as you said, for the rest of the festival. And Yoruba Richin, who was with us last year, actually, with the sit-in, sort of did the same thing. And we felt like it was really important to open the festival with these really strong Black women who have been in the entertainment industry and really, also around the civil rights movement, and were powerful, powerful women in what they did for the women's movement, for the Black women's movement, but also for entertainment. And it's just these six pioneering women that broke through, this entertainment industry, and really talks about how their activism and their movement really, supported so many going forward.
Well, this is an international festival, and maybe the most explicitly international film here is about Florence, and it's got Fab Five Freddy. That sounds like a non sequitur, so explain how that's supposed to work.
Oh my gosh, love this film, and love Fab Five Freddy for doing it. He really sort of goes to Florence, and it's funny. He's on horseback, and he's riding around Florence, and he's really looking at Renaissance art and finding, how Black people played a role in Renaissance art and how they were pictured in Renaissance art. And I just thought this is a really wonderful way to sort of reach out to all sorts of different people that, his fan base, people who in the art world. It's just a really wonderfully done film, and so we're really excited to have it, and we're really excited to have a conversation with him about that and about other things. That's going to be moderated by Barrington, who's a local artist in Boston.
I want to ask you about the outdoor screening. I know this is at the MFA, where you usually have all these indoor screenings in normal times, but this is a film, it's about a concert in Harlem in 1969. I had no idea about this, but I was very, very excited to see who's in this lineup, and I guess to see why that concert was so important.
I saw this film, It's Summer of Soul, or When the Revolution, could not be televised. And I think that Questlove did an amazing job of pulling this film together. And, I saw it at Sundance, and it was just like, this is a film we need to have at the festival. It was picked up by Searchlight and Hulu, and I thought maybe we weren't going to be able to do it because it actually opens on July 3rd nationwide, I believe. But I mean, you've got like Stevie Wonder, B.B. King, you've got The Fifth Dimension, and it is so spiritual and celebratory and a beautiful, you know, image of Harlem and people just really, excited and being part of this really amazing, amazing event. And I just thought, as the Rocks film team, we thought of it as like this is the perfect outdoor screening movie. This is the perfect film to bring outdoors. You're going to be standing up, you're going to be dancing. It's just really, it's really wonderfully done.
One of the things that struck me in this film was the difference between the performance by Nina Simone before this audience and what she did with another audience, because what she did in this film was much more energized.
Right. And because you're surrounded by all of these people that you admire and you love, and it was a moment of celebration, right? It was, I think for all of them, it was, it was like it was like Stone Soul Picnic from the Fifth Dimension. It's just people are like, we're together, we're celebrating this. There were thousands and thousands and thousands of people in the audience listening and understanding what their music meant to them, and understanding how their music changed so many people's lives. And I think that's probably where she was coming from with that energy. All of them had that incredible energy. And that's why I loved this film so much, because, again, we have, with television and news and everything all the time, oftentimes you don't see that celebration. And so for us to be able to screen this, I think is going to be really exciting.
For people who've seen some of the carnival celebrations in Boston, I'm sure there's an interest in the film called Becoming a Queen. Tell me what's so special, because it seems here it goes into the competition, but also just the essence of what it means to be playing mas.
We saw this film. It's from Canada, and I think that when you go to Carnival and when you're watching it from wherever, it's not really fully understood what it means, as far as the dramatization of the costumes and the work that goes into and the culture around Carnival. And so, this film really sort of like focuses on these two women, their sisters, who work, and their mother and their parents, who work effortlessly, it seems, but incredibly hard to create these amazing costumes for Carnival. And that the fact that you have to pull them, there's so much work that goes into it, but there's so much pride around the culture, that I think that's what really struck us. And Chris Strikes, who's the filmmaker, and it was Joella Crichton. I mean, I think that this story needs to be told. It's a legacy of Toronto's carnival, and a legacy of many of the other carnivals around the world.
You mentioned that there are other places around the world that do Black nativity, but I think there's something special about the tradition here in Boston, and you've got a film about that.
Really exciting to have this being seen around the world, around the United States, through our streaming platform, the story of Faith and Resolve, which was really about Black Nativity, Elma Lewis, Barry Gaither. I think that when we see that every season that it comes up, that Black Nativity is playing, and I think so many of us in the Boston area have seen it, that it really is an important work by Langston Hughes, and that what Elma Lewis and Barry Gaither and others, the other directors of the program did with this piece was transformative for so many youth and adults, and uh, you know, in Black America, that I think it's wonderful that they've documented it in a way that they can help tell that story.
One other film we should mention is a documentary about Alvin Ailey. And is this going to be an in-person showing, I think?
So, yes. So the Alvin Ailey film, Ailey, which is a great doc, another one we saw at Sundance, will only be an in-person screening. They, now that the world is opening up, people, filmmakers especially, which is what you want, right? You want your film to be seen on a big screen with an audience. So now that things are starting to open up, Ailey had asked that we just do an in-person screening for this as our closing night film, and we agreed to that. And we know that people might have issues about coming indoors, and we understand that. We're still limiting tickets. to that, which you can get on our website, roxfilmfest.com. For those all of those in-person screenings, you can get tickets on roxfilmfest.com. And um, yeah, I mean, I think it's and again, it's like Story of Faith and Resolve, right? That it's a really everybody knows Ailey. This is a really wonderful look at Alvin Ailey and what he created, which was instrumental to so many people's lives.
Well, I know we don't have time to listen. I know you've got at least a couple of films that are very much about Boston. So if people want more details, again, the website where they can get that, or tickets if necessary.
Yeah, so they should go to roxfilmfest.com. And they'll find all the information about the festival. You can also go to the Museum of Fine Arts for the films that are going to be seen there. We have we have great panel discussions, conversations that are going on throughout the festival too. You know, a couple on BIPOC. There's one on BIPOC women filmmakers who work in the independent world. So we're doing a talk about that. We're doing a talk about animation and Black and Brown people using animation to tell stories. We're doing a conversation with about Black journalism and Black journalism in the film world. So we're going to be having a conversation around that. So there's a lot, not just the films that people can see, but a lot more. And you can find all that at roxfilmfest.com.
Well, thank you very much for giving us the preview.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
That was Lisa Simmons for the Roxbury International Film Festival. We'll have more news in just a moment.